Well, autumn is truly setting in here at Bealtaine Cottage. You're very welcome to the Cottage Diaries. So over the weekend, myself and Patsy went on a little excursion, not too far from here, a mountain called Erigna, well actually the Erigna Mountains, and up there are some old coal mines, and there's been a wonderful exhibition created. There used to be an old coal mine at the top of this mountain, and it's been turned into an exhibition now, and you can visit the mine, but there's also a wonderful calf, and this is the view from the window. So later on, we went back home, and I got the lawnmower out. There's actually quite a lot of grass to cut here. Now, you wouldn't think it, because I don't have lawn as such, but I do have a lot of paths, and the paths are all grass. There's also a sort of middle path going all the way down the driveway, and that's about 180 metres long. So that has to be mowed as well. But the weather's been beautiful. We've been really lucky here in the west of Ireland. We've had this wonderful spring, absolutely incredible summer, so much sunshine, little rain. In fact, there's been a little bit of a drought on at my cottage because I get my water from the well up in the hill. But now it's turning into a beautiful autumn as well. It's just stunning. I mean, look at the blue skies. So I've been feeling very blessed the whole year with the weather, as many other people here in Ireland have been, and visitors as well. So looking out from the woodland, which comes down from the front of the cottage, I can see Slieve and Erin. That's because I've lost quite a few trees during recent storms. This is a shaggy incap mushroom which has gone over. You wouldn't eat that. But this is what the shaggy incap looks when it is edible. Yeah, and these are beautiful, fried in butter with a little bit of garlic. Now, I've put this video into sections, and I think this is going to be the format for the foreseeable future anyway. And that is my love of fashion and clothes and dressmaking and vintage sourcing. I'm going to put all that on the end of the video, make that into a different section. Well, there's certainly been some changes here during 2025. There's been some changes all over the world as well, hasn't there? But there's certain things just stay the same, like lighting the stove now in the early autumn, as the nights draw in and the coolness just begins to descend. I've been going to bed with a hot water bottle recently as well. It's lovely watching the colours. And you know, the autumn has this special significance in that, it being Lunasa, we have this celebration that merges into Samhain, and of course October is just a few days away now. It's important to enjoy these last days now. The last days of summer, as the song says. So I've been quite busy today. Got the lawnmower out. Made the most of the bright sort of dryness of the afternoon. because with the autumn comes very heavy sort of wet dews every morning, and sometimes lasting well into the day. So if you don't get that grass cut done, and it's just the grassy bits on the driveway. But I managed to get it all done, and down along the road front. It's very still. You can see from the smoke coming from the wood stove. Hardly a breath. I'm now setting about planning the work for the winter, because that's going to be beginning in about 4 weeks' time, and the leaves should be off the trees by then. But in the meantime, I'm making little autumn flower arrangements. And you know, my trick for doing these little flower arrangements is to have little vases, just enough to hold a few little sprigs. And that way then you're not left with huge flower arrangements. And they're quite easy to fill and interchange as well. So I've got a fair few of these little vases all over the cottage. And it's beautiful when you go out for a walk and you come back and you've got some little flowers. And it's not a big deal putting them into a small vase like this and just setting them casually somewhere. It's one of those beautiful autumn afternoons that you get between the summer and the winter. It's not warm, it's actually quite cool. And the sun is a little bit lower in the sky. But the light is amazing. And the shadows are beginning to lengthen. And even the flowers that have gone over on the buddleia have a sort of a beauty all of their own, because they're just seed heads now. But the colours and the contrast between the seed head, see if you can see it, and the leaves, beautiful. I like to think that I can introduce a modern slant onto what is Celtic fashion. Celtic fashion has evolved over the centuries, and if you look back into the history recorded by the Romans in reference to the Celts, they call them a very colourful people, that they like to show off and paint their bodies and wear jewellery and braid their hair and do all sorts of wonderful things that the Romans felt were quite wild and barbaric almost. But I love colour. So the little jacket that I'm holding here, I got that in Spain. It was the end of the summer sales in Spain, and I picked up a few nice little pieces, as they're called. Blues, yellows, greens, purples. My favourite colours, I think, at the moment. This is a raincoat. It's actually linen and cotton, but it has been it has a weatherproof coating on it. And you know, an art teacher of mine years ago said, green and purple don't mix. But what do you think? I think they go so well together. And I love mixing colours. And since I decided to let my hair be its natural grey, my colour scheme has changed a little bit. I can get away with more sort of contrasting colours, if you like. So I've got blue and green and purple and yellow going on here, along with a very colourful necklace, which has got purple and pink and yellow and all kinds of shades in between in it. And I think that that's one of the advantages of allowing your natural grey to come through, in that you can change your whole colour spectrum, or at least bring in different shades of colours which suit you. You also have to change your makeup a little bit as well and go for softer colours. Now this is my hand knitted jumper, one of the many creations. I went completely off piece with the pattern as well. I decided to do sort of bell sleeves on it. And when I was up at the Arigna mining experience and cafe, I bought this beautiful, it's a sort of silk, but obviously not silk because that would be hugely expensive. But it's a lovely Celtic design scarf. It's very soft and it's quite substantial. So I can use it as a sort of a snood like this, which is very 50s and very practical. But then I can pull it down and it gives me a lovely sort of a neck scarf, you know, and it sort of sits out well. So it's not tight and restrictive. The colour is beautiful. And again, you know, it's just because I have the grey hair now where I can get away with such vibrant colours. So there's a big sort out of my vintage clothes going on here. For those of you who think that I buy everything, well, you know, new, I don't. Of course I don't. So I have them all packed away in these bags and I'm slowly taking them out and sorting through them. And yeah, sorting through my wardrobes. Got some beautiful things in here and they are all vintage. Like, look at this. So I've got to show you this before I go any further. This is my take on what used to be called a house coat. And it's all about keeping warm this winter without having to huddle over the fire. Back in the days of yore, actually not that long ago, during the days of my Auntie Sheila, women wore what was called house coats, and especially the more fashionable women. And the house coats then during the 60s were like a sort of a lightly quilted little coat with maybe 3/4 length sleeves, little bit of lace on the end, little bit of a lace kind of stand-up collar, and they would wear them as soon as they got in from work or wherever. They'd take their coat off and put their house coat on, and their house coat would keep them warm and also keep their clothes clean. Very sensible, isn't it? I actually think it's just amazing that we've forgotten all these things. So I'm reviving the house coat. And the house coat now is a little bit more chic. It's longer. It's made from cotton. It has a lace trim like the old fashioned house coats of yore. It's a sort of shout back to maybe the medieval period, but also the Jane Austen period when house coats were just worn all the time. And I think it's something we should bring back. So anyway, you can have your own version of a house coat. My daughter actually got me this, and she got me the skirt as well. So And I've taken to wearing my boots again. I've got my boots out of storage. So I'll go and put the coat on with the bag to show you. So this is the coat and the bag that I got in a charity shop in Belfast. I think, because I did post this before, I posted this last year and I was wearing a hat with it. The hat's out in the car, so I can't go and get that at the moment. But anyway, it was about £20, I think I paid for it. And then I paid, I don't know what I paid for the bag, a couple of pound, I think. And they weren't matched together, I just put them together. They were in the same shop. So this is the coat, and yeah, it's warm. It's very warm actually. So what do you reckon? A bargain? Yeah. So I think I'll put that purple coat on now that I showed you from the wardrobe. You know, I'm going to have so much fun showing you all these clothes. This is the reason why I am slowly but surely, steadfastly and determinedly losing weight. I think about 80% of it would be, you know, health issues, but there has to be a percentage of that to do with being able to fit into all these lovely clothes that I have. So yeah, it's actually quite an incentive, you know. It's not going to be long before that does up in me. And it has this sort of gathered hemline. I'll show you the back. But isn't it the most beautiful colour? This is my wealthy look, you know. Yeah. Isn't it a lovely match? There we have it. That's the end of my little clothes, sort of fashion walk, or whatever you want to call it. I just have so much fun showing you these. And I hope you enjoy the video. I hope you've enjoyed it. And I look forward to the next video. And getting some more clothes out and putting them together, and yeah, blessings to you all.